Hello, everyone. My name is Bobby Martinez, and today we're going to continue the series of interviews with our local candidates that are running for City Council here in the city of Port Hueneme. These interviews are an important opportunity for us to get to know the candidates a little bit better and for us to hear directly from them about their plans, priorities, and visions for our city. Whether you're new to the community or a longtime resident, it's important to be informed about who's representing us and what they stand for. So today I'm sitting down with Mendez, who's running for a seat on the Port Hueneme City Council. Thank you for joining us, Louis. Or is it Luis? Or
I go by either.
Okay.
Either.
So I'm gonna say Louis because I'm used to calling you Louis. Okay. But before we begin, I just want to say that this is an open space for us to have a conversation where you can share your thoughts, accomplishments, and plans with the residents. My goal here is to give voters a better understanding of who you are and what you hope to achieve if elected.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's get started. So to begin with, could you share a little bit about your background and what inspired you to run for City Council?
Absolutely. That was a good question. So I think back in 1992, I went to Hueneme High School. I've lived in Hueneme for about 39 years. And I actually was invited to join a program called Future Leaders of America. I think Gil Cuevas was our school counselor at the time. And so I went to the summer camp at Rancho Alegre in Santa Barbara. And there, I was introduced to leadership, meeting other people, learning how to work with different groups. And I was really fascinated by the process. So when I got back to school after the summer, I joined ASB, started doing different leadership roles. And I was really, I really liked the process, student government. And so, fast forward, when I got into my early 30s, when I got into my current career, doing home loans, I started joining different professional organizations and nonprofits, and I got into their leadership roles. And what we would do is we would go to different leadership conferences, policy speaking at Washington, D.C. to some of our federal representatives, Secretary of State Ben Carson, with HUD, on how to change and kind of develop housing policy. So I started to get really fascinated with dealing with public servants and how they shaped our government and different policies that we live by and work by. And then with our local real estate association, I think in 2017, I was part of their leadership academy. And then we also traveled to Sacramento and started to advocate for housing and real estate propositions with the governor and our state representatives in Sacramento. And I just got really fascinated and tied up with the government process and felt after 10 years of doing trade organizations, 6 years of nonprofits, that I could actually take some of these things I've learned, dealing with our elected officials and try to help form and shape policy to benefit our local communities. So that was kind of the driver. And, me being here, I see an opportunity that, hey, the time's right to throw my name in the hat and see if I can help move Hueneme forward. Anyway.
Nice. Next question. What are your top priorities for the city of Port Hueneme over the next few years, and how do you plan to achieve these goals?
Well, my campaign, like most of the other candidates, has three main goals. Safety is number one. I think I've already started that process just being a citizen. I've developed a kind of a pretty good relationship with the chief of police. I've met with him a couple times to see what his vision is for the city. And, he's been on the job about 18 months already. And I see the difference, of the traffic accidents, the lower about 30%. We went over the statistics on Channel Islands Boulevard. I've seen the rubber bumps on the beach to kind of stop the drag racing and the spinning. And safety is number one and a priority, I think, for the city. And I totally support his vision and where it's going. So whatever I could do as a councilman to give the police officers the tools that they need, whether it's to update their systems, so that way they can meet the city's needs, whether it's an emergency call, or just to come help someone across the street that fell, just to provide them the tools they need to have a better presence and relationship with the constituents. The second part would be affordable housing. I think that is in my realm, working in the housing industry for 17 years. I'm familiar with how policy is shaped, and I've worked in new construction where I've seen how cities implement policies when they approve new developments in the city, whether it's for affordable housing units or putting certain criteria on the sale or resale of homes that have restricted resale policies on them to help cater to the people that can afford those low to moderate income. And the last part would be fiscal responsibility. I like where the city's going. They passed a balanced budget this year, And I think just moving that in that same direction would be my main three goals for the city.
Good. Next question. What do you believe are the most pressing issues facing the city of Port Hueneme, and how would you address them if elected?
I think the most right now is probably the future economic development of the city of Port Hueneme. Our city is unique in the fact that it's almost already built out, so there's not enough space for new development. And I think from what I've seen in the track record, it's hard for us to get businesses to come to Hueneme and succeed. So we kind of got to think outside of the box to see what type of businesses can thrive here. And my goal would be to collaborate with our surrounding businesses. Like you have the Port of Hueneme, that's a huge economic has a huge economic footprint here, the Naval Base Ventura County, and even all the way down to CSUCI, the University of Channel Islands. To me, I would like to develop relationships with those three entities to see if we can rent out or lease some of these empty spaces in the city of Port Hueneme and turn them into educational hubs. There's a lot of unions along Sherman that want to develop apprenticeship programs to train people, and what better place than Hueneme to help bring some of that economic money here locally to grow the city.
And what do you want voters to know about you that we haven't yet discussed?
Personally, I actually do have a good sense of humor. I take things lightly. I kind of joke. It's not everybody gets it, but it's all light-spirited. And I think that you have to take things with a grain of salt and at face value. You can't get too upset over certain things because we do, after all, have to work with other people and in order to move past policy and get things moving forward. So, like I said, I have a great personality, but I'm also serious when it comes to taking care of business.
And our final question. Why should the residents of Port Hueneme trust you to represent them on the city council?
Well, one, I'm a straight shooter. I like to do my homework. I don't like to go into making decisions blindly or based off what he said, she said. I like to do my research. I often ask a lot of questions. It doesn't mean I'm pro or against something. I'm a critical thinker, and I like to make well-informed decisions when it comes to policy that's going to affect us. And I think trust. When I'm elected, I will be representing everybody, whether you're independent, Republican, or Democrat. So I have an obligation to represent everybody as a whole. And I think I have that ability to look at things fairly and do what's best for the city, not for personal gain or a specific entity involved. So, and like I said before, 39 years here, I have roots here. I'm invested in Hueneme's success is my success. I have a lot to gain, by being a resident here. So hopefully the residents of Hueneme will put their trust in me and know that I am a straight shooter and I'll do the best for the city.
Good. Well, thank you, Louis, for taking the time to share your thoughts and visions with us today. It's been really insightful to hear more about your priorities and plans for the city of Port Hueneme. And then to all of our viewers, I hope this interview has given you a clearer picture of where Louis Mendez stands and how he aims to contribute to the future of our city. Remember, local elections are a great opportunity to have your voice heard, so I encourage everyone to stay informed and vote in the upcoming election. Thank you.